back in March of 2000, when Greensboro hosted its first ACC women's tournament, Duke beat Carolina to win the conference crown. Over the next decade, this town was usually painted a shade of blue by the end of the week. But starting in 2014, Notre Dame won 4 straight. Then recently, Louisville, NC State, and now Virginia Tech have joined the mix to take over Tournament Town.
All right, welcome back out to the Greensboro Coliseum. As you see, we are just over an hour away from our next game. We've got a North Carolina in-state rivalry matchup. This felt like Castle, what did we say, Castle South earlier? I think we're going to see a lot of Duke fans. Don't laugh at my geography, you guys. Already talked through it and I forgot it. I think we're going to see a great crowd for this one as Sanaya Rivers and NC State get ready to take on Duke. And that is at the top of the hour right here on ACC Network. Still more to come here on the other side of this break. We're counting you down to the next game. It's going to be 5 o'clock right here on ACC Network. You see Wes Moore probably looking at his notes. Coach, what are we doing here? Trying to get ready?
Hey, the hay's in the barn.
The hay's in the barn, on the cats on the tin roof, and whatever else it is. The baby may be ugly, but it is our baby. Wes Moore, maybe we'll get some good sayings from him after this. All right, on the other side of this break, we got to get back into what's coming your way, and that is NC State and River Baldwin looking to see what they can do and make some noise here as the 2 seed in the tournament try and make it back to the championship game. They'll have to get through Duke first. We'll talk the action after this.
Back in the 1980s and early 90s, NC State, led by legendary coach Kay Yao, won 4 ACC tournament titles.
1, 2, 3, defense!
Those championships represented the gold standard for Wolfpack women's basketball for nearly 3 decades. But then in 2020 and 2021, and then again in 2022, NC State won 3 straight conference crowns here in Greensboro, leaving Tournament Town and the rest of the ACC seeing red.
What a run it was for NC State, and they are back in action, the number 2 seed headed into this tournament, as we welcome you back out to the Greensboro Coliseum here in Greensboro, North Carolina, Tournament Town, as we are punching tickets to the semifinals. 2 games to go. Virginia Tech and Notre Dame have already taken care of business, both those teams advancing to their 3rd straight semifinals. Tonight we've got 2 more games on deck. Syracuse, Florida State tonight, and just in about an hour right here on ACC Network, we've got NC State and Duke going head-to-head. Sanaya Rivers, one of the players who has meant so much to this NC State team, one of the players who has seen a lot of improvement in her game from this year to last year, as has pretty much everybody on that NC State Wolfpack roster. And then Duke defensively has gotten a lot of good things done and really seems to be peaking at the right time as you take a look at Taina Mayer and what she has been able to do for this Duke team. We'll see what she's able to do when she faces NC State in just about an hour. But right now we bring in NC State's own. We were talking about the history and the way, you know, when you got to play for Kay and all those things in Tournament Town when we saw that. Debbie Antonelli, who, of course, is going to be on the call tonight. Jen Hildreth, Angel Gray have been doing such a phenomenal job this whole time. So, Debbie, I'll just start with you. Your thoughts to, first of all, big picture, what we've seen from the tournament and what it's brought us so far.
Well, first of all, where were my highlights? I mean, I didn't see my no,
I know,
just
black
teasing.
and white. I'm sure you're
yeah,
going to be
come on. Real, it's hard to splice it together, right? The tournament is great. I mean, Greensboro's always been such a special place for this event. It continues to show why with the fans, how much fun it is, and you know the amenities around here with the you know, the VIP section and all the hospitality around it. It's been really fun. I think the fans are having a great time.
And we're going to get to see a lot of fans, I'm sure, as we get this in-state matchup between NC State and Duke. Coach, we've talked a lot about the Duke defense, so let's start there. This Duke team defensively, what do they need to do in this game against NC State?
Well, Duke plays great team defense. That's the secret for success for them. If you get by the first layer, there's going to be somebody coming over to stop the ball. And then if she comes over, somebody's going to drop in to make sure they get that weak side rebound. It's so important they stay connected. They talk to each other. But they've got great length. They've got good athletic ability. They are able to really hawk the ball. You're not going to get anything easy from them.
Yeah, I love their three-level defense. Great ball pressure. They rotate. They're very connected. And then the third level is the ability to protect the rim. And they do have that with Kennedy Brown, but they also have that with their ability to rotate at the rim and to be able to stay connected and communicate.
Yeah, big time. Like you say, they protect the rim. And I love the helper.
Yep.
They do an amazing job of that. They play in the passing lane. They're long. They have guards that can pretty much guard anybody out there on the floor. And it's really hard for me to talk about defense, but, hey, Duke got some great defense.
They make you, right?
Me too.
That's what they're all based off of. We got to talk to Alucci yesterday.
Yes.
She was talking about her recruiting trip, and when Kara said, we're going to be defense, she's like, this is the place for me. What does a player like Alucci, Debbie, bring to this team as 6th player of the year in the ACC?
Well, she brings energy and the intangibles. I mean, she's a hard worker. She understands the scheme. She can play in any ball screen coverage, and she's able to guard multiple players. And when you have a versatile player like that has quicks, has length, has a good IQ about the scheme, then you can put her on any spot on the floor. And she's not just a playmaker offensively. She's a playmaker on the defensive end.
You know what I love? She sprints to the scorer's table. When Coach calls her in off the bench, she's there so fast, and then she gets she never stops moving.
What I love about her, I told her yesterday, you remind me of Elena Beard. The way you play, you're long, you're athletic, and her motor is so high. Do she get tired? I mean, like me and Kelly said, we get tired of her watching her play defense. That's how great she is.
You get tired for her. We never get tired watching. Yeah, right? We love the energy, but she makes us tired just watching it. Duke looking to get to the semifinals for the first time since 2017. Ivory, somebody else who has been a big key to what they've been able to do and the success that they've had this season is Reagan Richardson.
Yeah, Reagan, I mean, she's a prolific scorer. I mean, she can do it on both ends of the court. I mean, like I said, she can score, she can defend. She does a lot for this team, and she's out there, she's that vocal leader, and she gets everybody going.
I love her energy. I love how she's improved. I love that Kara Lawson can put her in multiple places, multiple ball screen action. And the thing that, when you talk about good offensive habits, this team runs the floor hard every time. They run it wide, and they get all the way down to the baseline, which really opens up the top of the floor for their ability to make some plays on the offensive end.
Yeah, they do. I love the way they run the floor. Richardson's been really good. She can go off and have a really big game, but she can also be a little quiet sometimes. I would like to see a little more consistency from her on the offensive end.
It's not just their defense that's been good this season. It's also been NC State's defense, 2 of the top in the ACC. And Ivory, somebody that you've got your eye on that you want to see what they're able to do is Sanaya Rivers today for NC State.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm so high on this young lady. Her improvements and the things that she has done. She's so athletic, and the way that she's run this team is great. And I mean, she continues to play hard every single time, and she's got to make sure this team is. But this is a play that I really love. Right there, she plays the passing lane, but look how athletic she is. She takes the ball behind her back, 1-2 dribbles, boom, right off the backboard, 2 points. Okay, raise the roof. But this right here, it shows her athleticism. Right here, the way she elevates over the player, that right there is a 40-inch vertical. I measured it and everything, and she knocked it down. I mean, she's just so athletic. My thing is with her, I need for her to score a little bit more, and that's what she's been doing lately. Once she scores, it relieves everybody else, and she's continuing to play hard on the defensive end.
Those last 2 games, right?
Yes.
She really played well.
I mean, she's worked all summer to get to a position right here where she can impact and influence at the highest level. And she's got plenty of weapons around her. I call it the 3 W's of a good point guard. I used to say this about Ivory. Know who to get the ball to, when, and where. She understands personnel. And NC State has a lot of weapons because their balance is so good and they have multiple players that can score. Sanaya's in charge. She's on top of the floor making those decisions to make this team work.
They do have a lot of weapons, but let's talk about another one of those who has made great strides. And do we think Isaiah James is coming in this, Coach, with a little chip on her shoulder?
I think she should, but I thought she was the most improved player in the league.
I did too.
I mean, she probably came in second voting, but if I was Wes, I'd be reminding her that, hey, nobody thought you were the most improved player except for me. I think you ought to show them tonight what you got.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. I mean, impacting the value of winning and winning plays and being able to score in a variety of ways. And that little edge might be the difference for her coming into this event. event.
Absolutely, and I said it. She got to have that chip on her shoulder because, I mean, the way she played this season for her team, go out there, scoring, defense, she pretty much did it all, an all-around player.
Ivory, what is it about her game specifically that impressed you so much this
I just
year?
love the way that she can create space with the dribble. I mean, the crossover, the behind the back, whatever it is the little footstep, just something so simple that'll get the defense off balance, and she is extremely quick. That first step when she go, you can tell on that left side she's going to do the floater or she'll look for a teammate. She's not selfish at all.
Increased her scoring average by nearly 9 points this year. You saw averaging around 15.6 right now, second highest increase in the ACC. And mentioned this is going to be a defensive battle, or maybe, I'm curious to get y'all's thoughts if it'll be a defensive battle, but as you take a look at the numbers for both of these teams and what they've been able to do defensively, both of them ranking in the top 2 in conference opponents' field goal percentage, top 3 and points per game allowed. These two teams did split the regular season series 1-1 when they played. So, Debbie, don't break everybody's heart because nobody on this desk likes defense. What are we going to see?
Are you serious? Did you not know anything about my 36-year career? Coach, I mean, honestly, you know, I want somebody to shoot till their arm falls off. Here's what I think is going to happen, and this is the way I see the game playing out at the very beginning, and this is the way I'm going to call it. I think Kennedy Brown is going to get established early. I think they're going to really challenge River Baldwin in the post. NC State's going to have to defend one-on-one. You know, and knocking down triples in this game will be really important for creating that space that Ivory was talking about. These are two teams that, as good as they are defensively, Duke played as well as I've seen them play all season last night, and they were balanced on the offensive end, and that's NC State's. That's the way they play. They play with great balance. They move the ball, and whoever moves the ball best, I'm watching for assisted baskets in this one. I think that will determine the outcome. Coach?
Yeah, that's big. You know, they played well yesterday, Duke, but they went 5 for, you know, something from the three-point line. Not a great shooting night. NC State is capable of shooting threes, and I'll tell you what, you're not going to get to the rim against Duke. They're going to pack it in. They're going to be in the pass lane. They're going to be in the gap. You're going to have to make those threes. So that's the question I guess the game will come down to. Who's going to be able to make the most shots?
I can see Duke right now slowing the game down. They know how fast the pace that NC State can play, and I can see them, as I've always heard, they're going to build a wall. They're going to make sure Zia James doesn't get in that paint or any of their players penetrate. And I think it's going to be a definitely slow down game, but I think NC State going to throw them threes up.
It's going to be the rubber match of the season. We saw Duke fall to NC State the first time, and then it was a win for them in a 69-58 game on February 25th, so not very long ago. But this one's coming your way in just about 50 minutes right here on ACC Network. The Virginia Tech fans really stand out earlier, and the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament will become the first conference women's basketball tournament in the country to surpass 1.5 million fans. To commemorate this incredible accomplishment and as part of the ACC celebration, one lucky fan and family will be selected to receive a special ACC gift. The ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is the longest running Division I women's basketball tournament in the country. Fans definitely going to be showing out for this next game as we've got an in-state rivalry matchup between NC State and Duke. Oluchi Akanawa, we got to talk to her yesterday about the mindset, the mentality, and this team is locked in and ready for what lies ahead in March. They'll have to get through NC State first. We've got more pregame coverage coming your way after this. Welcome back into Nothing But Net. We've got about 20 minutes to go until we send things over to the game crew. 27 minutes until tip. NC State and Zoe Brooks getting ready to take on Duke. The crowd is letting us hear it now. Let's see what's happening behind me. Oh, NC State has just taken the court. More of the team out here right now, so the fans already starting to pack in. Meanwhile, who's going to be the other two teams that we're playing in the semifinals? We are about 10 minutes away from tip-off in our first game of this afternoon evening session. Zia James, will she be playing with a little chip on her shoulder after not winning a Most Improved? Our crew thinks that she has had quite the season this year, and she's definitely been a big part of the Wolfpack success. More on this game as we count you down to tip-off here on ACC Network. Well, the crowd here is really happy because NC State, you got the band going, you had the cheerleaders just come out with the Wolfpack flags. And there is a lot of red in this building right now as you see Sanaya Rivers and NC State getting ready to take on their in-state rivals from Duke. The two teams split in the regular season, and it was Duke that won the most recent matchup when NC State was ranked number 6th in the country. That was back on February 25th. But I mentioned NC State was ranked number 6 in the country. Ivory, it took a little bit for people to figure out, wait, this isn't the team that we thought we were going to see this year. They were not picked high in the preseason poll. They were not in the top 25. And then they came out and got some really big wins early in the season. What do you think about the growth that we've seen from NC State in the play that they've given us?
You know what? It's the growth of the players, the caliber players that they got. They go out there and play hard every single night. And when you look on paper, you're like, oh, man, wow, they're great. But they're also showing it on the offensive end, defensive end. It's like they low-key has the total package. Some games you realize, like, man, can they put all of the pieces together? Can they play hard on the defensive end? Can they, do it on the offensive end and put it together? I mean, they're a great team.
You were talking about the unseen hours over the summer. Every single player on this team has improved. And coming into the season, when I looked at the roster, I said, Wes is going to enjoy coaching this team. Last year's team, maybe not as fun to work with. This year's team, they're coming in saying, oh, you're doubting us. And that's a great position to be in. But what I was impressed with, after they got up to, I think, 3rd or 4th in the country, they went from that. They kept it up. I mean, you would think they went, oh, okay, now we got where we want. We're satisfied. We'll just go ahead and play. No, they were like, no, we're still ready to go.
They started the season off on a 14-0 run, 12-0 in non-conference play, and then they had a little bit of a struggle. They go 1-2, then they have another 5-game win streak. So even when they've sputtered throughout the season, Ivory, they found a way to get back on track.
They did, and like Mr. Coach, if you're number 3 in the country, that gives you confidence. And then you look in the locker room like, hey, ladies, we really are that good. And they continue to play hard, and they play together. Isaiah James may have 20 in the half, but if she don't do well in the second half, they pick each other up very well. And that's a great thing about NC State.
I think anybody can be the leading scorer on this team. But, a couple of those losses, I think River Baldwin wasn't playing. She got hurt in that game, had the ankle injury, and I think they went 1-2 when she was out of the lineup.
And she's such a big presence for them inside. They've got 5 different players that have increased their scoring average by at least 4 points per game from last season to this season. But Duke is a team that has really come along very nicely lately as well. They lost the regular season finale to North Carolina. That snapped a 3-game win streak. But, Coach, now they're back on track with the win yesterday over Georgia Tech. What is it that they bring that can create trouble for NC State?
I think they're all bought in at the defensive end. They take a lot of pride in it, and that's their strength. They're going to come out and play great team defense. You can beat one person, there's going to be somebody else waiting for you. There's going to be somebody rotating. You think you have an open shot, somebody's going to be flying out and getting a hand in your face. They are a team that really has depth. I don't think playing yesterday is going to bother them at all.
Like you say, they take pride in defense. Tonight, I can see Alucci saying, hey, I got Isaiah James. She sat up here and said, every day her team says, look, are you going to guard the best player on the team? I think she's going to take pride in that tonight.
Their head coach, Kara Lawson, you just saw a big part of that defensive mentality. Super frustrating as a player to play against the type of defense that Duke brings. They are just relentless from the start of the first whistle to the very end. We'll have more here live from Greensboro on the other side of this break. Well, it's the rubber match game of the series between NC State and Duke. This time it is all going down here at the Greensboro Coliseum. A spot in the semifinals on the line. Winner advances and plays the winner of tonight's game, Syracuse and Florida State. But right now it is time to make some picks. Coach, are we going NC State or are we going Duke?
Kels, I like NC State, and I'll tell you why. They've got the 3 guards that are all capable of a big game, and I don't think Duke has that kind of firepower.
Absolutely, Coach. I agree with you. I'm going with NC State. I think Isaiah James is coming into this game with a chip on her shoulder, knowing that she should have won that award. And I also think Madison Hayes can also be a difference in this game as well.
I like how Coach says firepower, as I literally felt the heat on my back as that fire was going out. I agree with everything you guys are saying, and I do think Isaiah James is going to have a little bit of chip on her shoulder. But did you hear Alucci Okonowa yesterday and what they want to do defensively to teams? Did you see what happened in that last game on February 25th when they took down NC State? It's Duke for me. I think this defense comes out strong. They're the 7th seed. We're looking for the upset over NC State. We send it out to Jen Hildreth, Debbie Antonelli, and Angel Gray.
Welcome to the Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament. It is Quarterfinal Friday from Greensboro, North Carolina, and to tip off our evening session, it is an in-state rivalry 50 years in the making. Duke and NC State battling for a spot in the semifinals. Earlier today, Notre Dame and Hannah Hidalgo stealing the show. The freshman making her ACC tournament debut, helping the Irish advance with a win over Louisville. And then in the second game, everyone wondering what would Virginia Tech look like without three-time ACC Player of the Year Liz Kitley. Well, Georgia Amore turned it on, 23 of her 27 in the second half as the Hokies advance. So those two will meet in a rematch of a game just over a week ago that Notre Dame won at home. That's one semifinal. As for who will fill that bottom half of the bracket, well, we're about to find that out tonight. Thanks for joining us, Jen Hildreth, the Hall of Famer Debbie Antonelli. Angel Gray is with us as well. And what more might we see of this NC State team, Debbie? When you think about the way that they started this season, they were picked to finish 8th in the ACC. They were unranked. Now they're in the top 10 and they finished 2nd. So what are we going to see from the Wolfpack?
Well, you're right, Jen. They've been one of the best stories to follow all season long based on their preseason predictions. Defense, they rebound and they keep you out of the paint. On the offensive end, man, can they score. They've got great balance. Isaiah James leads them in scoring. And then Sanaya Rivers, long and athletic, terrific in transition, understands the 3 W's, who to get the ball to, when and where, has a handle on all personnel, and plays with incredible IQ and balance.
NC State head coach Wes Moore said Sanaya Rivers, the player that makes him go. Isaiah James, well, she's the show. As for this Duke Blue Devil team, they won a game yesterday against Georgia Tech. To get here for more on the Blue Devils, let's go to Angel.
Well, ladies, Duke has had the best defense in the ACC for back-to-back seasons, but Carol Lawson most impressed with how they've been able to balance their act on the offensive end. What's most impressive in their game yesterday is they had 6 players with 8 points, 4 players that finished in double figures yesterday. 8 of their 11 players that get significant minutes in this game are underclassmen. She's talking about how impressive it's been to see them grow, understand the game, understand a scouting report. 6 different leading scorers this season, and most importantly, they're sharing the ball. 56% of their field goals have been assisted on. They're doing it by committee. They're moving the ball. They're understanding how to win and how to move on the offensive end.
Now, Angel, this Duke team shot over 50% from the floor in that win against Georgia Tech yesterday. Wes Moore has won the ACC Coach of the Year award 3 times. He was in the running, one of the finalists this year as well. You'll see the coach who did win it in our second game. Felicia Leggett-Jack with Syracuse taking on Florida State in our final game of the day of Quarterfinal Friday here in Greensboro. Off we go. Now Duke has it. Taina Mayer, the transfer from Boston College, hands it off to Ashlyn Jackson.
Duke played as well in a complete game yesterday in their win over Georgia Tech as I've seen them play all year. And what they did in their matchups with NC State, back-to-back, which are games they split. They got Kennedy Brown established on the block at 6'6" to really challenge River Baldwin.
Donovan got deep, 4 on the shot clock. Reagan Richardson, all ACC second team pick this season, has to shoot. And it's a shot clock violation to start.
Really good defense by NC State. Great ball pressure. And in order to get Duke, you got to have 3 levels of defense.
Told you about Rivers and James. Madison Hayes, the player that Wes Moore calls the glue of this team, along with Mimi Collins and River Baldwin in the starting 5 for the Wolfpack.
They run the Iverson cut over the top, which is a misdirection, which Duke is right there, rotates, has great ball pressure. Both these coaches have an incredible bunch of plays they can go to. And look, there's the show.
I told you, there's the show. Isaiah James had a career-high 33 in NC State's win at home against Duke in the regular season.
The other thing NC State does well is they play a softer cover. They'll guard inside the 3-point line. They'll do a really good job of understanding personnel.
Mayer.
See, they'll want Mayer taking that shot. That's good defense by the Wolfpack.
Jaden Donovan, one of those young players Angel was talking about for this Duke team. Can't defend Mimi Collins on that shot.
That's a matchup to keep your eye on because Mimi Collins does have the post-up ability against Donovan. She has size and experience in that matchup.
Mimi Collins, a 6'3" graduate forward for the Wolfpack.
3 possessions for Duke, and they don't have anything going yet. Watch this move right here. High off the glass. Beautiful, and then the dump down inside, reverse pivot to create some space.
James and Rivers both named to the All-ACC first team. Sinai Rivers also on the defensive team. She elevates so well on that jump shot.
NC State doesn't always crash. They prefer to get back in transition. Duke is very good at running the floor hard on the break.
Mayer can't get it. The putback from Kennedy Brown. Boy, she was big in the win yesterday. 14 points for Brown against the Yellow Jackets to help Duke, the 7 seed, get to this game in the quarterfinals. Baldwin has it taken away. Jackson to Richardson, up front on the break, doesn't finish. Numbers. James, nice. Inside to Baldwin. How about that?
What a delivery. A look away and a drop down.
Duke needing an answer, gets it from Jackson.
Oh, and then NC State throws the ball away. Watch this no-look pass in transition. Slice the floor and drop it off to the big girl at the rim. It's a beautiful leave.
A little flash and fun from Isaiah James to get things started for NC State in this ACC tournament. Turning the ball over, though, not what they want on this end of the floor. Duke can't take advantage on the first shot. I don't even know who to credit that to.
Well, Mimi Collins, you can give her credit for that.
It's like a horse shot.
Thought I've seen everything. I hadn't seen that before.
I'm going to use that. That's in my range. So that ties us up at 6. Rivers with 5 on the shot clock. That Duke defense makes life hard on this end of the floor.
Yeah, you can't stay on top of the offense with the ball. You've got to get below the free throw line against Duke. Make them guard inside out.
Jackson too strong from 3, and then James pulls down the rebound. The junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, averages almost 16 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, takes some contact on the shot. All right, I have no idea how to score this play.
Okay, watch this right here. I mean, it is, I think Mimi Collins knocks it in. That's a strange look. Take a look from this angle. It went off River Baldwin, then it hit Mimi Collins. So the assist to River.
Well, more pressing concerns on the other end right now. Reagan Richardson, I believe that's who that is, that's down for Duke.
You know, injuries are never good and accentuated at this time of the year because it's March.
Richardson's been having a great season. One of the few players with some good experience for this Duke team. Freshmen and sophomores playing big roles. Richardson, a junior. You can see her defending on the shot. There's the roll of the ankle as she's coming down.
And that was only almost a 90-degree angle is what it looked like. That didn't look good. You know, injuries across the country, right? Where Molly Davis at Iowa, not available for the tournament. Don't know the status of Mackenzie Holmes at Indiana in the Big Ten. And of course, Kitley, the 3-time player of the year, did not play today. We don't expect to have her for the tournament, for this tournament.
Yeah, it is one of the more heartbreaking times to have to suffer an injury for the player and the team at this point in the season. We'll keep you updated on Richardson's status as she went off to get looked at. Leading scorer for the Blue Devils, averages just under 12 points per game for the season. Lucia Okonowa, though, the ACC 6th player of the year now on the floor. She can really provide a lift for this Duke team.
NC State has to move. Can't just get stagnant when the ball.
Rivers.
Yeah, see, the ball right now is staying on top of the floor, which means it's not going below the free throw line. That's one way to attack Duke's defense.
Donovan calling for it inside. Turns around, makes her shot.
I mean, that is a tough turnaround jump shot. If your defense can force those all game and they make them, then you just got to give it up for them making 2 points. A tough 2.
Behind the back, Isaiah James pulling all the tricks out of the bag. Donovan, look at her beat everybody down the floor, and another finish with flair.
I mean, that is a straight line drive, rim to rim. Somebody has to stop the ball.
Donovan, a freshman, McDonald's All-American, Gatorade DC Player of the Year.
And you know Duke is going to hard hedge on that ball screen action and tag from the strong side that time.
Rivers.
Yeah, they're forcing Rivers to make plays.
And she's having to take some tough shots,
Yeah,
or choosing to anyway. Okanawa, and Duke's getting to the rim.
And see, when Sanaya Rivers misses at the rim, there's no defensive balance for NC State. That's back-to-back straight line drives in transition by the Blue Devils.
6-0 run by Duke to take the 4-point lead, and then NC State throws it away.
The one really good offensive habit that the Blue Devils have is their sprint in transition. They run hard, they run wide, and right now, right down the middle of the floor to the bucket.
ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. Ooh, the fire, and who's been bringing the heat so far in this one? Debbie Antonelli. Maybe a little Isaiah James?
I think she's a little cool, a little lukewarm right now,
okay.
but I see it brewing. You know, she's been their leading scorer all season, and she's one of the most improved players in the league. I thought she was the most improved player. She got my vote at 15.5 points. And she can impact the stat line on the right side of the box score as well. She's going to have to get some touches right here, but Wolfpack's got to move the ball better than they have moved it to start the game.
This is going to be an offensive foul against the Blue Devils. Donovan getting called for the foul.
I've been really impressed with Kara Lawson's tempo of her team in the transition game. Their 4 baskets are layups in the game early, but they also have the ability to accelerate through their actions offensively. There's James going backdoor.
Yeah, just working hard, working her defender to get herself open.
Really nice job of clearing it out and letting her go one-on-one. Backdoor.
6 points in the game for James. Starting to bring that fire a little bit. Zoe Brooks on the floor as well, the All-ACC freshman team selection for the Wolfpack, number 35.
The NC State needed to go smaller because they weren't keeping up with the transition game of Duke.
Mayer has her first points of the game. 4 of the 5 Duke starters now have scored. Reagan Richardson, the only one who hasn't, but she left with injury at the 6-minute mark. We'll try to get you updated if we have anything. I see her riding the bike over in the corner. Rivers willed her way in.
It's a really good call from the bench because you get the clear out and you get the blow by and you know the switch is coming.
Cable throws it away, and NC State will take over the basketball. Isaiah James now trying to fire the crowd up as Richardson gets off the bike. That's a good sign for Duke.
Wow. After the way her ankle looked like it rolled, that's impressive that she could pop back up.
Such an important player for this Duke team. And a drive to the basket. That is 8 for Isaiah James.
Off the timeout, it's Isaiah James getting the touches for NC State.
She's got us tied at 14 now. Camilla Emsbo, grad transfer from Yale, onto the floor for Duke. Mayer into some traffic. Brooks, Rivers, ready to run for the Wolfpack.
With Mimi Collins at the 5, this is a much more mobile NC State team.
Richardson.
Oh, what a shot.
Right back into the game, and the ball into the basket. Zoe Brooks lost the handle a little bit on the way in. Still managed to get her drive to the basket. Okonawa the other way. Travel.
Keep your eye on James on this out-of-bounds play. Here she comes off the Mimi Collins screen. Little pump fake and a blow-by. And then in transition, Sanaya Rivers leaking out for an easy 2.
I think James likes playing here in Greensboro, relishing the postseason. Wolfpack saw their run come to an end in the quarterfinals last year in a very different year, and they finished 8th in the ACC. Lost to Notre Dame. That's an offensive foul. First on Hayes.
Well, Hayes misses the lob. Mimi Collins told her where to pass the ball. She's pointing to throw the lob. Jackson is standing there, had time to have a cup of coffee on that one.
No question about getting set defensively. Jackson took the charge. Shot up, but off. Rivers coming off back-to-back 20-point games in her last 2 of the regular season. Hayes, how about a 3?
And that's Sanaya Rivers setting that up. Putting it right in the pocket for Hayes in transition on the top of the key.
Madison Hayes, the senior who said that this year has just changed her whole world in terms of the role that she's taking with this team, the responsibility she feels. She was 1 of 8 from 3 over the last 3 games. Sees her first attempt in this one go down.
Duke runs flex cut to get into their offense. And then Rivers doing a great job. This is when your point guard can rebound like Sanaya Rivers. She can get you into your transition game quicker. And this is a last possession here of the quarter for NC State. She's going to want to go with about 8 seconds.
Rivers back on top. Now Hayes. Collins calling for it. Rivers is fouled on the 3-point attempt.
This is time and score management right here. NC State really didn't have anything going, and it's a bailout by Duke. You can't foul Sanaya Rivers as a jump shooter or outside the 3-point line.
Sanaya does a good job of getting to the line. She's been there more than any other NC State player this season. She's 89 of 118, 75% free throw shooter.
If you were going to put a fantasy team together in the ACC, you'd want Sanaya Rivers on your team because what she does on the right side of the box score, the right side of the box score is rebounds, assists, and steals. And she can stuff the stat sheet over there. And she is one of the more improved 3-point shooters. 14 makes last year. She's up to 20 makes this year, and she's really worked on it.
Leads this NC State team in assists and steals and has the Wolfpack in the lead right now at the end of the first quarter.
Isaiah James, the lefty, going left. In the paint, off out of bounds plays, dialed up any way you want. Wolfpack on 11-2 run.
They've been waiting since 1991. The Pack is back on top.
This season has been nothing but crazy. One thing is going to be consistent, the NC State is ACC champions.
For the 3rd year in a row, ACC champions.
That's called a 3-peat, Kelly. All right.
Oh yeah, this NC State team knows what it is to win a trophy. Winning those 3 in a row from 20 to 22. Maryland no longer in the league, still on top. North Carolina right behind with 9.
That's a lot of Chris Weller right there at Maryland in the history of the game. And then for North Carolina, Sylvia Hatchell responsible for 8 of those 9 championships for the Tar Heels. They got bounced yesterday by Miami.
Quick 2 points to start the second quarter for River Baldwin and NC State. Jackson to Brown. Okanawa. Does anybody rebound with the energy of the 5'10 freshman, Aluchi Okanawa?
There's not many teams that have a guard that leads them in rebounding, and that's Okanawa. Right here, just making herself available, and she's so athletic, she's long, and she's determined to rebound.
Aluchi Okanawa, an ACC all-freshman team selection. The ACC 6th Player of the Year has come off the bench in every game for Duke this season. Maddie Cox, 6'2 freshman out of Flower Mound, Texas, on the floor for NC State. Zoe Brooks still out there as well.
NC State going to their horn series. 2 players on the elbows.
James had 8 points in that first quarter. Brooks from the free throw line, yes!
We talk about freshmen in this league, and there's one right there for the Wolfpack, number 35 in white.
She is going to be a fun one to watch. We've got several of those. And Zoe Brooks certainly in that category as Mayer misses everything.
Part of the reason why NC State is such a good rebounding team is because they do a really good job of guarding personnel, not letting the ball get past them in the quarter court. Now in the transition game, they got to do a better job of keeping them in front. But in the quarter court, they do an excellent job.
A little confusion there on that play from the beginning. Looked like River Baldwin was ready to set a screen. Instead, she got the basketball. But, you know, to find James, good things happen. Can't finish on that three-point attempt. Okanawa. Mayer bounces off Baldwin and winds up back with Taina Mayer. Brown.
That's travel.
Good matchup to watch in the paint too. That River Baldwin Kennedy Brown battle that's going to be going on all game long.
I mean, watch Kennedy Brown. How many steps does she get? My goodness.
No foul on the play. Under the basket for Duke. 6 on the shot clock now. Okanawa. Back out for Mayer. The 3 won't go. And Baldwin eventually does corral the rebound.
River Baldwin's got to post up strong in there because even the post up creates some driving lanes.
Brooks to Baldwin. And then this is going to be a foul, I guess, on Brooks.
No, NC State fans are not going to like this one either.
Donovan went up for the rebound.
The rebound carries her momentum into Brooks.
Oh, goodness.
But she fell down, and that's what the official saw.
Well, Zoe Brooks is called for the foul on that play.
The NC State's got to get high hands on a passer. See that nice jump to the ball, but an excellent cut. You got to have some ball pressure. You got to have high hands.
Cable stole it back for Duke. Jackson certainly would have thought she had it. There's another lane, but it is blocked by Rivers. Thought she had the block. There is a foul, though, on the play. So that was a foul called on Sanaya Rivers. That puts Kennedy Brown on the free throw line, an 87% free throw shooter for the Blue Devils. Westmore not liking the explanations he's getting from Ed Sedlasky. Three points in the game for Brown. She averaged 14.5 in the 2 games against NC State in the regular season. Each team winning on their home floor. James. Baldwin keeps the possession alive for the Wolfpack. Rivers. Nothing opening up along the baseline. And then Jaden Donovan forcing that pass to be exactly right, and it wasn't.
It's a fundamental that I don't know if it's not taught right, but I don't see many players throwing the lob pass from their chest. You got to have it over your head to throw it over the top. Just the angle that the ball gets delivered.
Duke, of their last 4 from the floor, they turn this one over. It goes right to Maddie Cox. 5th turnover of the game by Duke. Brooks knew where she wanted to go. It was to River Baldwin, but Kennedy Brown, the best shot blocker and one of the best shot blocking teams in the country.
And that's what gives Duke a 3-level defensive presence. Ball pressure, the ability to rotate is the 2nd level. The 3rd is at the rim.
Ball fake from James opened up the pass to Rivers, but Kennedy Brown doing a good job getting there.
Carol Lawson says Duke defense is the gateway to winning. They allow the fewest points. A lot of that has to do with tempo, but also with their great ball pressure.
And I like when you asked her if when she got to Tennessee playing for Pat Summitt, if she loved defense then, and she said, well, I really had to learn to work at it and to make it a priority. Foul on the play, and that has Wes Moore fired up. He likes it, and all those fans in red behind him cheering as well as Donovan picks up her 2nd.
Good recognition by River Baldwin to come up and relieve pressure.
Madison Hayes, Mimi Collins both on the bench as Cox and Brooks are out there for NC State. Here is Zoe Brooks. Cable has it blocked.
There's a switch. Now pull it back out and let River Baldwin post up. She's got a mismatch.
Brooks looking over to the sideline.
Now that gave Duke a chance to switch back.
Now she goes to Baldwin. Short corner, good. 6 points in the game for River Baldwin, and NC State with its largest lead of the game at 8.
Icing ball screens means try to keep it on the same side of the floor, but Reagan Richardson gets around it.
And some frustration perhaps showing itself for this Duke team that's on a scoring drought of over 2 minutes. They've missed their last 7. Kennedy Brown commits the foul and will take a timeout. ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Look at that sparkly ball. You know you're ready for the postseason when you bring the bling on the basketball.
You're always bedazzled, Jen, but you know what I've noticed here is look at all the dads and daughters that are in the building. I think it's absolutely amazing. All tournament I've seen this, and I absolutely love it. Girl dad's a real thing, and there are a lot of young girls coming back to the game, and the success of the women's game this year is an all-time high, and it's exciting. A lot of it can be attributed to Caitlin Clark and what I like to call Clarkonomics, but here in Greensboro, over 1.5 million fans have attended ACC women's basketball here in this tournament. That's absolutely amazing.
The rest of the world starting to catch on to what we've known for a while. What a great product we have in the women's game, especially here in Greensboro with this ACC tournament. Virginia Tech, the defending champs, see if they can defend their crown without their 3-time ACC Player of the Year, Liz Kitley. They'll take on Notre Dame in one of the semifinals tomorrow.
ATOs after timeouts are not only just about offense. NC State's defensive energy in that possession was as good as I've seen it in this game. You can see a lift in their body language. And Duke is 0 for their last 8.
Just 3 points in the quarter for the Blue Devils.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not good shot selection. The ball never left Zoe Brooks' hands, and she dribbled out the shot clock, and now they're at a deficit in transition.
What a look as Akanawa just kept it high and got it to Brown.
Your shot selection cannot lead to transition opportunities for the other team.
Brooks really seeing a lot of time at the point.
I'm going to, yes, I want it.
5 on the shot clock. James with her left. Jackson, Akanawa. Mayer the shot fake. Delaney Thomas. How's another field goal for the Blue Devils, who are coming back, down 6 now. Brooks out in front.
That's back-to-back layups. And here comes Duke. This is how quickly they can get their energy back and back in the game.
Brown. Thomas wide open inside.
Watch the trailer right here. But the reason why this space is open is because the ball is all the way down on the baseline. And the defense has to seek the level of the ball. Look at all the white jerseys that flood to the ball line. And that leaves the top of the floor open.
Thomas, a freshman, didn't play in the game yesterday for Duke against Georgia Tech. Akanawa spinning into some trouble. Got rid of it just in time. 6-0 Blue Devil run. Brooks content to take her time. Attack Duke in the half court. And remember, this is the #1 defense in Duke in the ACC. James, another miss. Crossover from Jackson. Now she picks up her dribble.
Trying to force Mayer to her left hand, to her weak hand.
5 for Jackson and Duke. Thomas, open, hits it.
NC State has their hands down on all defensive possessions. You got to have high hands, and that allows you to have better ball pressure, taking the vision away.
An 8-0 Duke run makes this a 2-point game now, just over a minute to play in the second quarter. The winner moving on to the semifinals. Take on the winner of our next game between Florida State and Syracuse, and NC State just 2 of their last 12.
So they go to horns, and they're going to call a foul. Sanaya Rivers in the act of shooting right here. This is a great delivery. Look at everybody's hands down, standing around watching for NC State.
I think it was off the ball, that foul called on Thomas. So off the inbounds. Baldwin having a hard time hanging on to it as Jackson is sliding all over the floor. Gets the jump ball called. Possession arrow in favor of Duke. 8th turnover by the Wolfpack. Both of these teams projected into the NCAA tournament field, but looking to continue on here in Greensboro.
The ACC Tournament Championship is one of the most coveted crowns in sport. And as soon as Lacey Steele comes in the game, Kara Lawson is prepared to run a play against her matchup.
Lacey Steele into the game, commits the foul for NC State. 4th team foul by the Wolfpack.
Here comes Jackson again.
2 points in the game for Ashton Jackson. Has it blocked by Baldwin.
Great help.
Rivers fends off Akanawa. Collins can't hit the 3. Neither team has been able to rely on the three-point shot. Duke has yet to hit one. Blue Devils are 0 for 5. NC State 1 for 5 from 3. Low-scoring game you think would favor this defensive-minded Blue Devil team.
Oh, Brooks. Good play by Brooks.
Bats it away and draws the foul on the other end.
That is a big-time hustle play by the freshman. She gets the tip and deflection right here. High hands right there. That's why you got to have your hands up, Jen. And then she's going to have to earn it at the line.
Brooks, a 74% free throw shooter. Had 6 points in the last game, a win on Sunday for the Wolfpack against Wake Forest. All 6 of those points coming from the line. She was 6 for 6, but misses her first in this game and misses them both. So a 2-point game is what we've got separating these two teams from the triangle. A lot still to be decided here in our second half to see who will move on to the semifinals tomorrow. Duke, though, ending this second quarter on an 8-0 run to make it this close. NC State averages 75 points per game. They have a 2-point lead right now, and Angel Gray is standing by with their head coach, Wes Moore.
Well, Coach, you had the 2-point lead going in at halftime, but Duke went on an 8-0 run over those last 3 minutes. What are some things you want to see differently defensively?
Well, I'm not solely upset with defense. I got 27 points. I'm upset with 29 points on the offensive end. We're out of control. We're forcing things. We're shooting with no rebounders. We got to be under control a little bit more, make better decisions with the ball.
Isaiah James had 8 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, she was held scoreless. Are you asking more from everyone else, or how can you get her going in the second half?
You know, we always depend on everyone else. We have 5 or 6 people that score in double figures and that are capable on a given night of scoring 20, so we don't want to rely on one person. We just got to make sure, again, we're making good decisions. Duke's doing a good job on the defensive end as usual.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
So Wes Moore, not too worried about the defense, not too happy with the offense at just 29 points in the first half, but his team does have the lead. For now, let's get you over to our Nothing But Net crew with Kelsey and the gang.
Jen, Debbie, and Angel, thanks so much. Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report. We got the whole band back together for the rest of the night here on Ladies Night. Ivory Latta, Kelly Gramlich, our Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, Kelsey Riggs hanging out with you at NC State with a 2-point lead over Duke at the half. It was a scoreless last 4.5 minutes for the Wolfpack, but before that, Kelly, we did see a balanced attack. What did you like about how they were able to score?
Well, that's what Wes Moore just said. We don't want to rely on just one person, and they don't. They have great balance. I thought also what he said, I'm just going to listen to the coach, what he's saying about his own team. They were a bit out of control at times and missed some layups towards the end of that first half that could have made this lead a lot bigger. And Duke is going to take advantage and capitalize on those mistakes.
You're absolutely right. And just sitting here watching, NC State can't take those quick shots, especially those quick threes.
Right.
It was opportunities where they could have got the layup. Take the easy basket, because anytime Duke smells that they can get that fast break and you have a Lucci on your team, she is out.
They've had some drives to the basket. They're not finishing. And then you're right, the shot selection, too quick.
The ball screen was something that you guys were a little frustrated with for NC State in the first half too, Ivory. What'd you see?
Absolutely. NC State really has to attack that post player outside hip. But it's so hard because Duke is so great defensively. When you think your post player is open, they close the gap very well. But they still have to attack it, go around, kick to a teammate, maybe for a 3.
River Baldwin's got to roll to the basket. The wing is heading in defensively. The other wing is wide open. Get the ball to that wing. You've got an open shot, or you got a 2-on-1. Drive it, you got 2-on-1.
Some adjustments they think would make a difference in the second half. We'll see if NC State makes them and what more Duke can do. They've gotten themselves right back in this game, only trailing by 2 at the break. Meanwhile, has been a great turnout here on day 3 of the ACC Women's Tournament, and you see the ball being presented here. This was the moment where the ACC honored the fans that came in that were 1.5 million fans to enter the ACC tournament. Stay tuned. soon. More coming your way. Welcome back into Greensboro. NC State with the 2-point lead over Duke. But let's show you what happened earlier in the quarterfinals. Louisville and Notre Dame. And how about the spin move, Kelly?
I love the spin move from Sonia Citron. I thought she was phenomenal today for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame jumped out to a 22-point lead, but Coach Jada Curry tried to bring them back.
Yeah, she did. And they were looking to double team her and left Marissa Russell wide open.
Jada Curry had a season high 26 points. Hannah Hidalgo just doing what she's been doing as a freshman all year long. Notre Dame wins it 77-68. As you take a look at the big three for Notre Dame, Citron, Hidalgo, Westbeld combined for 60 of the team's 77 points. The team improves to 7-0 this season when 2 of the big three score 20 or more. Ivory, they're hard to stop when either 1, 2, 3 of them get going.
Absolutely, that combination is very deadly for any team. Once they get going, the way they play with each other, you see the chemistry, the inside-out game, kick it out to Sonya for the 3. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch.
And basically what that means is they are 7-0 when either Westbeld or Citron scored 20, because Hannah Hidalgo, even on a night where she doesn't shoot the ball well, she scores 20.
Yeah, and they can rely on each other. And so nobody's shouldering that burden all by themselves, which was in the beginning of the year. Hidalgo felt like she had to carry the team. Now she's a little better distributor.
So Notre Dame is headed to the semifinals, 3rd straight time for them, but who would they play? Well, it would be the winner of our other game from our morning session, and that was Virginia Tech making their debut here in Greensboro this year, taking on the number 9 seed Miami. No Liz Kitley. She is out for the ACC tournament, will be reevaluated in a week, according to their head coach, Kenny Brooks, but they do still have Ivory, her running mate, Georgia Amore.
No Liz, but in Amore we trust.
So you trust in her, and after what you saw today, you probably trust in Claire Strack as well, Coach.
Oh, I did. She came out great. Freshman, Kelly called it, though. She was on.
Few possessions later, same score. It's Kayla King that gets in the mix.
I thought Kayla King was very calm throughout this game, was a steadying presence that they needed.
She sure was, and then in the second half when it really counted, Georgia Amore started heating up. Only had 4 points in the first half, finishes with 27, and Virginia Tech wins it 55-47. Mention what Georgia Amore was able to do. 23 of those 27 came in the second half, and her 27 points, nearly as many as the rest of the team combined, which, I mean, honestly seems like it happens a lot because Georgia is so talented, Kelly, and she can go off at any moment.
She is, and I love the confidence you see from a player that struggled a bit in the first half, got in foul trouble, did not let it phase her. That mental toughness to push through and win the game for her team in the fourth quarter was phenomenal.
Like you said, she's always had confidence in herself, but she sat up here and talked about how she is still confident in her teammate, especially in strike.
She had a nice rest when she got those 2 fouls, too, so she was ready.
All right, we're going to get to see Virginia Tech and Notre Dame go head-to-head tomorrow in the semifinals. Played just one time this year. Looking forward to seeing that. But meanwhile, y'all want to play a game?
Yes.
Simon says stand up.
Oh, I thought it was going to be trivia.
I'm ready. We got the Simon Says with the mascots here in Greensboro. This is like one of my favorite halftimes, besides like the baby race.
Go Half Cub. The Tar Heel won. Go Half Cub. The Tar Heel won.
Looks like Tar Heel took down Miami. That wasn't what happened yesterday, but the Tar Heel did win today. Miami goes down earlier, and right now we'll still wait to see who comes out of this one. It is Isaiah James there with the bucket. NC State with the 2-point lead over Duke.
Welcome back to the Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament halftime of this Game 3 of 4 today from the Greensboro Coliseum. A low-scoring affair, 29-27. The Wolfpack leading the Duke Blue Devils by 2 as we welcome you back courtside. Jen Hildreth, the Hall of Famer Debbie Antonelli. Debbie, what do you make that first half, and what do you think needs to be a bit better for both teams in the second half?
Well, I believe in March, this is what happens in every game. The possession shrink, the court shrinks. There's not a lot of transition opportunities, not a chance to get a lot of easy buckets, so execution's at a premium, and you got to be able to execute really well to score.
Well, that takes us to our Food Lion Food for Thought.
This is why Duke was able to score. Watch this twist action on the top of the floor. This is Emsbo setting a screen. Then she twists her body, and that allows Mare to get past the screen. She sees drop coverage. She recognizes it. She pulls up and hits a jumper. This is an easy scoring opportunity for NC State. Off their rebounding, they push. When Sanaya Rivers rebounds, they get into the transition game faster. That's a spot-up triple in transition with a little flip pass by Sanaya Rivers, who sets up Madison Hayes. NC State's got to be better in their defensive fundamentals. High hands. Make sure you communicate, and Duke has got to be better in their execution on the offensive end.
Well, let's hear more from what Kara Lawson said at halftime with Angel.
Absolutely. Kara Lawson said she was pleased with how her team battled down the stretch, especially in the last 3 minutes of that second quarter. Went on an 8-0 run, but she said the adjustments that needed to be made were more on the defensive end. Jalen Donovan and Reagan Richardson with the 2 fouls put them in a tough position. She said at this point, we're pleased defensively with what we were able to do, holding them to 8 quarter points. So they're just trying to 8 points in that quarter. So what they want to do is continue to build on that, and that's their identity.
NC State knows, Angel, that Duke is going to hard hedge and tag from the weak side. There's a couple of times they've turned it over in that. I mean, when you know a team is going to do it, and they do it so well, you got to have some ball fakes. You got to have different options offensively.
Isaiah James called for the push on that play. Her first personal foul. Take a look at Kara Lawson.
They got Kennedy Brown established the first 2 times they played. They haven't gotten her established in this game yet. I think that's coming. Here's a screen and roll on the top of the floor.
3 on the shot clock. Jackson gets another chance at it, does get it off on time.
I mean, Duke hustles, and NC State has 5 players standing straight up.
So make that a 10-0 run now for the Blue Devils, who tie it up at 29. James, can she get hot again? Angel referenced it earlier, all of her points coming in the first quarter. Madison Hayes spent some time on the bench in the first half, now is fouled.
Duke's going to want to travel before the foul on this one. And watch the shot clock, look at the hustle.
Ooh.
NC State's just standing straight up. Good hustle by Duke to score.
Does she get this off in time? Doesn't look
Oh yeah,
like
did they say they were going to review it?
I think they did. I saw them motion over as the basket went through that they were going to try to take a look at it. For now, it stands.
We'll see. They'll wait till the under 4, under 5 timeout, okay? And sometimes you need to go to it right away because this is going to be a possession-for-possession game.
0 for 2 from the free throw line, but an offensive rebound from River Baldwin gives it back to NC State. Wolfpack just 4 for 9 from the stripe in this game. 3 on the shot clock for Rivers. Hayes. Rivers open for 3. Jackson, who had that last basket, which stands for now, but as we looked at it, we could see those 2 points go away. We'll see what happens on that next timeout. James, short.
Everything off the dribble. Nothing off the pass right now. Here comes Duke, tilting the floor, running in hard. Great offensive habits by the Blue Devils.
6 points in the game for the freshman Jaden Donovan. And now the Blue Devils up by 2.
They go naked 2-man game right here. Reject the screen, fill behind.
Little out of control and out of bounds.
This is what you love about Duke. Look how hard they run, how wide. They just flat out in a foot race are beating NC State down the court right now.
12-0 Duke run going back to the second quarter. NC State 21 points in the first quarter, just 8 in the second quarter, just a 7th single-digit quarter they have had all season.
Too much ISO ball for NC State right now. Duke is making them pay too. They are really running hard.
Mayer will be headed to the free throw line, pushing in transition. First personal foul on River Baldwin. River has more ACC tournament games played than anybody in an NC State uniform. This is her 9th. Some of those, of course, coming in her 3 years at Florida State.
This will be Mare's first trip to the free throw line. She's 1 for 7 in the first half from the floor, 0 for 3 from three-point range.
It is not a beautiful offensive game at the moment. Both teams under 40%. But that Duke defense has a way of making things difficult for their opponents.
I mean, it's a .4 differential, but right now NC State is the best field goal percentage defense in the ACC.
James. A fight for the rebound, and it's a foul on Mimi Collins, her first. It just feels like NC State has gotten stuck. No points since the 4:27 mark in the second quarter.
Well, they're not making the game easier for their teammates. What they're doing is they're driving, looking to score. All ISO ball. Maybe you should drive and look to pass to someone who might be open for a shot, because Duke is shrinking the floor. They're not guarding the three-point line. NC State in the first half went 1 for 5 from the three-point line.
That pass fell right into the hands of James, and then she runs into Collins, and that is what it has felt like here for NC State these last few minutes. 10th turnover.
That transition right there looked like a bunch of little kids playing soccer, running down the middle of the floor, chasing the ball.
Mare.
Good fight by Hayes, but her hands are down.
Good positioning there by Rivers to get herself the rebound.
See if NC State can get some ball reversal.
James behind the back, step back, 3! $11 points in the game for Isaiah James, her first since the first quarter, snapping that long drought we just talked about for NC State as a team. NC State ball.
Good D by River Baldwin that time. How about a little step back right here? Beautiful. Maybe that'll loosen things up and open up the floor a little bit for NC State.
The Wolfpack led by as many as 10 in this game, but Duke, since about midway through the second quarter, has had their way. 1-point lead at the moment, still stands. Look at Donovan push the ball. Richardson in the middle, they go to Brown. Baldwin had her hands on it, couldn't keep it, and Mare puts it away. Something happening right in front of the Duke bench. Ashlyn Jackson holding a towel to her face. I'm not sure I saw what happened.
Well, they're taking her straight back to the locker room. I did not see it.
I think it was something that happened on the other side of the court. We may have a look at it here.
I think they're going to have to take a look at it because of the extent of the injury.
Right there, maybe with she and Donovan both going for the rebound? Or the hand from James.
Unobserved play is under review.
Well, that play is under review. We'll fill you in on the result when we come back after this quick break. So the official review continues on the play that sent Ashlyn Jackson off. We think we found it. Watch the middle of your screen. Watch Isaiah James there, number 10 for NC State. Catches Jackson right there in the face. Debbie, is this a foul?
Well, to me it's a swim move, which is trying to get open on a cut. So as the ball moves, she's cutting through the lane. There's no whistle on the play, so the officials are looking at it to potentially upgrade it. They can make it a contact technical foul. But I don't don't think so, because she played on. The play continued, and then she realized that she had some blood. So I think that's a basketball move. It's a part of the freedom of movement, you know, like that's an emphasis in the game. She was trying to cut to the other side, and that's what she's saying. I'm swimming over the top to get through the lane to cut to the other side of the basket.
Take another look right
I mean,
there.
she catches her, certainly catches her in the nose, but I don't, it's not intentional. It's a basketball move. It's called the swim move to get open. Post players use it, and perimeter players use it.
Kalani Spurlock, Ed Sidlasky, Meadow Overstreet still conferring. Looks like they may have come to a decision. That initial signal from Meadow seems like they are not going to issue the intentional foul. Now, during that break,
play was deemed incidental, so we do not have a foul on that. And then the shot clock play by Duke number 3 at 9-11 was disallowed as a shot clock violation.
I would think Kalani Spurlock are filling us in on both of those things.
That's what we thought. I mean, there was nothing to upgrade it to. It's a basketball move. Good job by the officials.
So you're going to see 2 points come off for Duke. And if you remember when we looked at it, we could look at it right away. They had to wait until the stoppage, our officials, to look at it. So now it is a 1 point lead for the Blue Devils. And we're pretty close to another media timeout here, under 5. Both teams trying to reset now. Jackson back receiving treatment after that contact to the face. No foul, though, deemed in the eyes of our officials. Collins for 3, fouled on the three-point attempt. That is the second time in this game that Duke has fouled an NC State player in the act of shooting a 3.
And really a non-3-point threat. This is a great step-up screen and a pop by Collins to the perimeter. This is a huge mistake right there by Duke's defense. They force a tough shot.
That's a third personal foul on Reagan Richardson as well. Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Ally. Enter now to watch your team take home the championship in person. Nothing like being at the postseason in person, and a great atmosphere for this game here in Greensboro. NC State and Duke battling it out. Duke's on a 14-3 run, and they have a 1 point lead.
Well, and look at that, 10 for 16 to start the game, and NC State 3 for 21 since.
Ladies, we've seen that this has been a battle. We saw Ashlyn Jackson run off the court with a towel over her face. She was being tended to in the back. I could read the lips of the trainer saying, "It's bad, there's blood everywhere." She comes back, runs on the floor, says, "I'm available." I talked to the trainer. She said, "Oh, that's my girl. She's tough as cookies. She wants to be tough as nails, rather. She wants to be on the floor." And you can see her now on the floor.
Yeah, wearing number 50, Angel. Thank you for the heads up. Great to see Jackson back out on the floor for Duke. Tough as nails, one tough cookie. We know we were going with that. 5 points in the game for Kennedy Brown.
Good foot fight on the block by James, not to let Donovan post her up.
And Jackson can't hit with the shot clock going down. Duke 2 for 8 this quarter. NC State 1 for 9. Nobody's finding much offense.
Both teams need to just tighten up a little bit. There's way too much slippage in this game on the offensive end.
James to the basket and in.
She is so crafty. She doesn't need a lot of space. She can get through any seam defensively.
13 points for James. She is the leading scorer on the season for the Wolfpack.
NC State switches their guards on the perimeter.
Donovan looked like she was in trouble, but was smart to find the basketball to Brown.
See, NC State overhelps. Brooks had the defender, and the overhelp results in a foul. And there's James slicing through to the hoop. Keeps her eyes on the target the whole time.
You've been talking, Debbie, about Duke wanting to get Kennedy Brown established on the inside. She had 14 points in Duke's win against Georgia Tech yesterday. 12 of those coming in the second half. She now has 6 in the game.
Well, in the game in Raleigh, they went almost as like scripted. They went to her several times in a row. 3 times to start the game to get her going, and she did get going.
Yeah, she had 15 points in that game with 6 of 8 from the floor in a losing effort as NC State won at home. Duke would go on to win on their home floor. Oh, Brooks somehow, some way, scores it. Brown, Donovan, Okanawa, tough shot, but she's fouled.
A really good ball movement by the Blue Devils. Zoe Brooks gets a step, a little crossover. We see you with a little scoop shot, Zoe.
And Zoe can see. I talked to her earlier this season. You may remember she wore goggles for the first 13 games of the season. Hadn't really worn those before, didn't really like them, and then started wearing contacts. Remember, she used to pull those goggles down, they'd get all fogged up.
Remember, at the end of the half, she missed 2 free throws, and her body language walking off the court wasn't good. I saw Wes Moore go over to her, tap her, and say, come on, let's go, Zoe, we're going to need you. And look at the way that one basket has lifted her body language. Now she looks like she's a much more confident player.
NC State, 1-point lead. And Duke takes it away. Donovan, Okanawa. Broken up for the moment. Jackson wearing that number 50 jersey after she had to go off and change. Had some blood on her number 3 jersey. Rivers. James behind the back, step back, the foot on the line.
No offensive rebounders.
Camilla Emsbo on for Duke. Mayer got around Rivers. Okanawa making something happen, driving to the basket. Second personal on Mimi Collins.
See, now Duke is moving the ball. They're going side to side. The ball's getting below the free throw line. They're forcing NC State into rotation. And they're being aggressive and attacking in the paint. Neither one of these teams I would call great 3-point shooting teams. The game's going to be determined in the paint.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest differentiating factors in the 2 games during the regular season. The team that won the paint won the game. They're even right now, each with 20 paint points.
How about the confidence surge that we've seen from Alucia Okanawa throughout this season? She had a dip midway through ACC play. She had a conversation with Kara Lawson. Kara looked at her and said, I don't care if you don't score another point. What you add off the bench and give us as far as energy for our team, we need it. Over the last 3 games, she's been able to score 9 or more points. She sets the tone for them. First one down the floor. She just does so many things well.
Now, Angel, she had 15 points, so she added some scoring too. 8 of those coming in the 4th quarter in the win against Georgia Tech. She's got 8 in this game, half of them coming from the free throw line.
And NC State has 4 turnovers, all in the live ball situation, meaning they're turning it over and allowing Duke to have numbers transitioning the other way. They don't even get a chance to set their defense.
Emsbo at the free throw line after James picked up her 2nd foul, and Duke now in the bonus.
6'5" graduate student from Yale. Duke degree to go along with a Yale degree, not bad.
Emsbo averaging about 15.5 minutes, mostly off the bench for the Blue Devils this season. Baldwin, 6 points in the game. She averages 10.5 and throws this one away. And you think about what Wes Moore said to Angel at halftime. He said, we're out of control, we're forcing things, we're shooting with no rebounders. I mean, this is not the way he likes to see his team execute on offense.
The last couple of plays, I'm not giving Duke's defense credit for the turnovers NC State has had. Those are turnovers where they're making bad decisions with the ball.
Yeah, that's fair. Duke's defense earns plenty, but those are what you call an unforced error in tennis. Short corner, Emsbo. Kanawa cartwheels out of bounds. And NC State will take it.
That's where she is relentless, because she's going every time. And she might as well, because she also picks up the basketball in the backcourt. So if you're going to provide that role for Kara Lawson, you don't need to score a point to Angel's her report.
NC State just 9 points in the quarter. Now they get to double digits with that 2 from Brooks. Tied up at 40. Under a minute to play in the third quarter. A spot in the semifinals on the line for these two North Carolina rivals.
A 2-for-1 opportunity for Duke. They're going to get the ball back if they can score quickly.
Jackson to Emsbo, around and in. NC State really came out flying in this game, but have been slowed down, some by their own mistakes, some by that Duke defense since. Chance to tie or take the lead before the third quarter expires.
Step-up screen by River Baldwin.
Hayes for 3 and the lead for NC State. Okanawa will launch from mid-court, but the Wolfpack will take a 1-point lead into the final quarter.
A really good piece of execution by NC State. Off the ball screen, a piece of the paint to a spot-up triple. Hayes with her second 3 of the game.
More great action coming your way later tonight in our final quarterfinal. Timpson and Latson stealing the show for the Florida State Seminoles in their win yesterday against Wake Forest. So the Seminoles getting ready to take the floor at the Greensboro Coliseum. And their opponent, the Syracuse Orange. What a season this Syracuse team has had, and what a great matchup we're going to get with 2 of the best scorers in the ACC. Deasia Fair, Tanaya Latson, bring it on for the nightcap.
I mean, 2 of the highest scoring guards, not just in the ACC, but in the nation. And Deasia Fair, everybody knows about Tanaya Latson. She led the league in scoring last year. If you haven't seen Deasia Fair play, she's 5th all-time in career scoring in the history of the game. She's on a list with Caitlin Clark right now. That's worth tuning in to watch.
Over 3,000 points for Deasia Fair. She can light it up. Brooks. Good start for the Wolfpack in quarter 4.
I know Wes Moore is thrilled about what he just saw from his team after that timeout. He said, listen, we got to dig deep. We have to make them make jump shots. They are 0 for 7 from the field. Make them put it on the floor if you want. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're containing the paint. That's back-to-back stops on the defensive end for NC State.
Now, Mare has not made a pull-up jump shot except for the one we showed you at halftime. She's made a layup. She's 2 for 9, so NC State needs to do a better job of dictating the shots that Duke takes.
And Duke picked up 9 of their points in the third quarter, 9 of their 15 from the free throw line. Hayes. Did beat the shot clock, but too strong on the shot. Richardson. Off the front of the rim, Okanawa.
Who else?
Both of these programs know what it is to win an ACC tournament title. They're looking to take that next step. NC State's won 7. Duke has won 8, and that is a big 3 from Richardson.
But none of these kids have won one on either side.
Baldwin gets the roll. Brown. Probably could have taken that one herself. Okanawa. And Brooks just awkwardly slow to get up. Well, with a tie score once again here in Greensboro, we'll take a quick break in the 4th. Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. Let's take a look at our star stories for players that have been crushing it. Brought to you by Crush.
Well, for Duke, it's Okanawa. She comes off the bench and does what she does on the glass. And then for NC State, it's Isaiah James. And let me correct myself, James has won a championship here in Greensboro in 2022. She was a freshman, and Madison Hayes was also on that team.
Now, to your point, though, for most of these players on both teams, this is a new journey here in Greensboro. Programs may have won, but they're taking these steps now, trying to get to the semifinals. 11 to shoot, and James doesn't need any more than that. She's got 15.
No help. Duke defense forces her to make a tough shot. NC State will guard inside the three-point line.
Mayer going against Baldwin, who did affect that shot. Mayer somehow winds back with the basketball. 6 to shoot. Brown traveled.
I mean, NC State is really pounding the air right here, and they are pounding the ball really pounding it right here. This is just dribble, no help, one-on-one basketball.
Brooks was fouled on the floor, went quickly down the other way, and Jackson picks up the foul.
Now, when a team plays up the line like Duke does, sometimes you do have to put it on the floor, but when you get to the paint, there are options and other people that could be open. Duke's just staying home. They're not helping on any penetration to the middle of the floor.
Brooks looked up, nobody was guarding her. She'll take the 2. 10 points in the game for the all-freshman team selection for the Wolfpack. Brown turns into trouble, but doesn't give up on the play and draws the foul. Boos raining down from those in red here at the Greensboro Coliseum as Baldwin picks up her second foul.
And there is a lot of red in the building.
Brown, a couple of misses from the line so far tonight. She's 3 for 5, now 4 for 6. Inches Duke 1 point closer.
Duke's got to really dig in right here and guard the ball.
Had 8 lead changes in this game. NC State trying to hang on here. Hayes. Looked like she had that finish right where she wanted it. Mayer has it batted away by James.
It's a foot race.
James went back to her left, and somehow Jackson got back and thwarted the progress of Isaiah James.
Watch James. She crosses back over to the middle.
Went right where the defense was.
I see Jackson straight up.
Mayer batted it away for a moment, but NC State still in possession. 20 seconds to work with. Rivers. That is going to be a blocking foul on Kennedy Brown. Looked like she was trying to get herself set up for the charge.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, is you know they're going to hedge those ball screens. You go at that outside hip. That's what you attack.
And that is the third foul on Brown. Both she and Richardson have 3 for Duke.
I would go right back to River Baldwin in a screening action and try to get another foul on Brown. Right there. Try to pick another one up. There's a good find.
Brooks open for 3. Can't knock it down. Baldwin. Big rebound. Quick jump ball whistle. It will stay with NC State on the jump ball. And 19 seconds on the shot clock.
Toughen up right here. Keep your focus, both teams. You got to really tighten it up.
Hayes fouled on the rebound. That's Donovan. That's her 3rd. Debbie, in a game this tight, what is going to make the difference for these two teams down the stretch?
Toughness. I mean, being tough with the ball, right? Now for NC State, Duke is going to ramp it up a little bit. You better be ready to go back door. And then NC State has executed very well on their baseline out of bounds plays tonight. There's another one right there, putting another foul on the Duke defense. That's a great basket cut by James.
4 fouls on Richardson, 4 team fouls on Duke in the quarter.
It's misdirection on the strong side, right? Sanaya Rivers coming off that double screen, and then it's James with a quick step and a great bounce pass.
So obviously that was a shooting foul. James would have 2 anyway, but the next Duke foul is going to put NC State on the line for the rest of the game. Team that shoots 75%, Debbie. One of 2 for James. Still a 1-possession game, 3-point NC State lead. Okanawa has it taken away by Brooks. The 2 all-freshman team selections going at it.
So Okanawa dribbles right into the middle of the floor into all that traffic. Every game in this tournament, except for one, has come down to the last couple of possessions. It's been amazing how tightly competitive, but we are not surprised because it's been like this all year in the ACC.
Remember early on, multiple coaches saying whoever wins this year is going to have 3 or 4 losses. Virginia Tech did have 4 losses. That is the most ever by an ACC regular season champion.
6 on the shot clock.
Brooks, as the shot clock fades away, Hayes kept it alive, kept it for NC State.
See, that's hustle. While everyone else is standing, Madison Hayes is going to the glass. She creates this opportunity for NC State to have an extra possession.
Debbie, we talked about Sanaya Rivers making them go. Isaiah James is the show. Madison Hayes is the glue. Makes plays like that for this NC State team. They got a good look out of the out of bounds for Baldwin.
Good post up inside.
Brown, long 2, and Baldwin grabs the rebound.
NC State needs to make sure they stay aggressive here. Sometimes they get to this point right here and they hold the ball on the top of the floor. You got to get the ball below the free throw line against Duke's defense.
Rivers, open. No, Hayes again fighting for the rebound, but so too is Donovan. She comes away with it for Duke.
But they get ball reversal and they get a wide open shot.
Brown.
I'd run the same play. Go right back to Rivers on that. She'll make the next jump shot.
Both teams struggling here. NC State 0 for the last 7. Duke 0 for the last 4. Baldwin kept that pivot foot down and is fouled.
Oh,
it's going to be 4 on Brown.
She can't believe she didn't drag her pivot foot there.
See Brown shaking her head. She has foul number 4 on this play. Ooh, did it drag?
I think so.
That angle made it look like it, didn't it? I thought she held it from where we were sitting, but nonetheless, she's at the free throw line, River Baldwin, an 84% free throw shooter. Very good from the line, typically. NC State below 50% from the free throw line in this game. And an empty attempt there in the 2 shots for Baldwin. Sometimes you have to survive games like this where shots aren't falling. That's the postseason. Duke made it to the semifinals of this tournament last year, lost to Virginia Tech.
You go under ball screen action right now with the Blue Devils. They are 1 for 10 from the 3-point line.
Rivers, so Baldwin looked to be open. Good hands by that Duke defense.
If you ball fake the tag on the roll, you'll have a wide open shooter on the other side of the floor.
Brooks, single digits on the shot clock. Okanawa defending. Brooks got her to lean. And Hayes once again picking up the rebound. Can you be composed and take your time but not lose your edge with the lead? That's the challenge for NC State. Mayer didn't want the 3, wants the drive, has it blocked. NC State could run.
Good decision, no numbers there.
Sanaya Rivers, the ACC 6th player of the year last year, all ACC first team this year along with James. Trying to see this one out for the Wolfpack, 2nd seeded team in this tournament. Off the fingertips of Baldwin.
They have tried multiple times to hit the roller and they have not connected all game. It's not a surprise what Duke is going to do. It's a hard hedge attack from the weak side. Sometimes it's attack from the strong side, but Emsbro gets back and the pass is just not there. They can't connect.
14 turnovers by the Wolfpack, but just 2 points off of them for the Blue Devils. Duke down 3. Jackson lost the handle, but found Donovan.
NC State really doing a much better job on the glass. Duke had 10 offensive rebounds, and they scored 14 points on those. That's the difference in the game.
This may be just who can make a basket to win. At the moment, it is NC State with a 3-point lead. We'll take a quick timeout, just over a minute to play. Back in the Greensboro Coliseum, one of these 2 teams is moving on, and you know, sometimes, Debbie, you just have to win ugly. That may be what it comes down to in this one.
I mean, Duke has missed 41 shots. They've offensive rebounded 11. NC State's missed 35 shots. They've offensive rebounded 10. It's not the prettiest offensive performance right here, but it's a competitive game, and it's a one-possession game.
And this is what's on the line, a spot in the semifinals tomorrow. The winner taking on the winner of our next game, Syracuse and Florida State, coming up in the nightcap here on ACCN. Virginia Tech and Notre Dame to start you off at noon tomorrow. The championship coming up on Sunday. That will be on ESPN. College Game Day is going to be here. But right now we need to figure out what this final minute and change looks like for these two teams. Mayer and that Duke defense win the ball for the Blue Devils.
Now they're inside 2 minutes. They can review this. I mean, just too casual on the inbound pass. I mean, it looks like it could have gone off of Mayer's foot last, but the NC State just not good execution there.
Called out of bounds is under review. Call on the court is Duke ball.
Now that's significant.
It hits Mayer's leg. Then did it hit Brooks's foot? From that angle, it's hard to tell. Let's see from this angle. Oh, that looks like that might have hit Mayer's foot last, but the officials will take a good look at it.
And remember, they have to have video evidence to overturn what they saw, which was a Duke call on the floor. They said it's Duke possession.
It looks like it's off Duke to me.
It does. There's no doubt it hits Mayer.
But look at the angle that Zoe Brooks is taking to make the inbound pass, and to catch the inbound pass. You gotta cut to the ball.
Yeah, that looks like it's off Mayer's leg last, which means the call would be reversed and the ball given back to the Pack.
Great job by our crew on the camera work there. They're also looking at the clock while they're over there. Make sure the time is right.
Keep an eye on the clock there when the ball goes out of bounds. As Debbie said, no doubt that is what they're checking as well.
Right, so it looks like the ball's still in bounds, then it's out. They might put 1 second back. 1 second on the shot clock certainly would help NC State.
Well, we will await their decision, see who gets the basketball. Both teams can scheme for either scenario.
In the meantime, you got to cut hard. You got to be sharp with the basketball. You can't have game slippage right here. You're trying to advance to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. You got to be able to be strong with the ball.
Now this Duke defense is going to force you to make sure you're cutting hard to the ball.
TV Sports will load 4 replays into the replay monitor, and then there's other angles that they can look at that the standby official has access to.
Well, it has been a battle between these two, not always pretty. NC State does have the lead. And we wait.
Gives both coaches a free timeout. Both coaches with 3 timeouts remaining. NC State has only 1 team foul. Duke's already put NC State in the bonus.
Call on the court has been overturned. It is NC State ball. Clock remains.
Well, that's what we thought too, looking at the replays.
I thought they might put a second back.
It stays at 1:08, 13 seconds on the shot clock, and NC State will now inbound it a little further down the floor. Brooks going right to the basket. She had no doubt where she wanted to go.
Kara Lawson wants a timeout to advance the ball. Great take by Brooks. Good clock awareness.
Zoe Brooks with 10 of her 12 points coming in the second half, 6 of them in this fourth quarter.
Watch this little rub off the top by River Baldwin. She tries to set a screen, but Zoe Brooks doesn't quite take her defender below the level of the step up. And she still gets all the way to the paint.
There have not been a lot of field goals to be had in this fourth quarter, but Zoe Brooks with a big one there, making this 2-possession game, 5-point lead for the Wolfpack. Both teams, timeouts remaining. Duke has 2, 3 for NC State, but 3 fouls to give as well for the Wolfpack should they need it. What's Duke need here, Debbie?
No, they need something going to the basket. They don't need a 3. They haven't shot the 3 well.
They'll take the 3.
Yeah, I don't like that at all for Duke.
The Blue Devils 1 for 11 from 3, to your point.
You know, you could have extended the game by attacking. It's a decision that I'm sure was one of the options, but I can tell by Coach Lawson's reaction that wasn't the best option.
Jackson committing the foul, so NC State will be at the free throw line. The Wolfpack just 7 of 16 from the line in this game.
Well, Mayer, 2 for 14 from the floor. She's taken the most shots, probably by design by the Wolfpack defense, but she's 0 for 5 from the three-point line.
Rivers for the second, no. Timeout Duke. Let's see if they get a different result this time around.
30-second timeout.
You think still the plan, Debbie, go to the basket? Or
no, I'm going to the basket. What Duke lost in that exchange is 10 seconds. That's it. They still have an opportunity here. I mean, with a timeout to advance the ball this time, you're going to put the ball probably in Jackson's hands or probably Reagan Richardson and let them make a decision with it.
There is only one Duke player in double figures. That is Alucci Okanawa. She also has 10 rebounds, so it's her third double-double of the season.
Duke's going to get a running downhill attack of the basket right here. This looks like something from the Boston Celtics playbook, to be honest with you.
Carol Lawson with some experience there. Okanawa to the basket.
Absolutely. I love the play.
Work to perfection.
NC State's got to take care of it right here. There's the foul. Now, that's a play on the ball. A hard foul, but it's a play on the ball. This is right out of the old Celtics book. I've seen this play before. I knew it. Look at that downhill. I love this set by Carol Lawson. She totally took the decision-making out of her team. She said, we're going to inbound it to Kennedy Brown, and we're going to scissor cut off that, and we're going to get a layup.
Carol Lawson, assistant coach with the Celtics 1920 season. First female coach in Celtics history. And the struggles continue from the free throw line for NC State. This would be their worst free throw percentage of the season if this continues. And it does.
Duke they can't call timeout and advance it because they passed it.
Timeout, Duke. This will be a 60-second timeout.
Timeout called.
Well, NC State is going to look at 7 for 20 from the free throw line. That's right, 7 for 20.
That almost doesn't seem possible. I mean, this is a team that on the season makes 75% of their free throws, 78% in conference play. What on earth has happened?
You've opened the door for Duke because you haven't been able to separate. Your turnovers have allowed Duke to stay around. Duke's offensive rebounding has kept them in the game. If I'm Carol Lawson, I consider running the same set. The speed of Duke is tough, and NC State has played man all game. The other thing is with fouls to give, might NC State consider committing a couple of fouls right here? You certainly don't want to give up a 3.
Yeah,
but you have to practice it to know if you can do it or not. Both teams, look at that shooting percentage.
Yeah.
And look at the free throws.
My goodness. Well, Duke, if they opt to go for 3,
they're not going to opt for 3 here.
They're 6 for 29 from 3 in the tournament, 1 for 11 in this game. But that is the deficit, and no timeouts remaining for the Blue Devils.
You got to keep them in front. You can't, and if they're going to commit a foul, it better be on the way down on the dribble, not on the way up. This is taking too long.
Brown does take the 3, misses everything.
That can't be the play.
Kennedy Brown is a 25% three-point shooter on the season. She's 6 for 24.
I mean, I don't understand why Coach Lawson didn't just go back to the same set. I know you think that scouting would matter, but Kennedy Brown, she's a career 25% three-point shooter. Yeah, Coach Lawson, I'm with you. What was that?
And Kennedy Brown, senior for this Duke team, hoping to extend their stay in Greensboro. Both of these teams projected into the NCAA tournament. Duke is a 6 seed currently. NC State is a 3 seed, according to our Charlie Crean. But what about this tournament? What about who moves on to the semifinals? NC State trying to secure that spot.
You're fouling right away here, and you're putting them to the line because you know they're not going to make they haven't made free throws.
Take some time off the clock, though.
No, there was a foul before that. You got to be kidding me. You know they're going to foul.
A jump ball is called. The possession arrow goes to Duke.
There's fouling committed before this. Right there's one. Right there. That's a second. Now you get the jump ball.
Now no timeouts. So Duke has to go the length of the floor. Down 3. They are 1 for 12 from 3 in the game. Mayer short on the three-point attempt. Okonowa, and time runs out on the Blue Devils. The Wolfpack survive and advance.
Survive, survive, and survive. This should have no implication at all on Duke's seeding in the NCAA tournament. But NC State's going to play on semifinal Saturday.
The Wolfpack moving on to take on the winner of our next game. Syracuse and Florida State fighting for that final spot in the semifinals. And by the way, NC State beat both of those teams in the regular season, but in overtime for both of them. All right, Debbie, let's take a look at our Bojangles Big Bow moments of this game.
Did we have a Big Bow moment? Yes, we did. Isaiah James high off the glass, creating space off the bounce. James, the only player, or the only 2 players of NC State with double figures finishes with 16.
Now let's go down to Angel, who's with Isaiah.
Well, it's very funny because you came up here, I said, how are you so calm? You said, well, we got revenge, and that's what matters, and you're marching in March, right? Yeah. Despite shooting 35% from the free throw line, you get the win. Describe how.
Definitely. Just getting to practice, we definitely about to work on free throws because we're about to put up to the line every chance he get, but, you know, I'm proud of them. We pulled it out there, you know, what happened last time with them, you know, that wasn't us, but this game, it was definitely us. We definitely showed it all 40 minutes.
Zoe Brooks did not play like a freshman. Describe her impact for you guys and what you're going to need from her as this continues in March.
You know, in the first half, she was down at halftime and stuff, but we all came together and tapped her shoulder like, look, pick your head up. You're not a freshman no more. It's time to put your big girl drawers on and let's go. Let's go. It's time to go. And And look what she did. She came out, put some big shots up, and got us the win.
At the end of the game, you get a stop. At one point, you were describing what it was to be just a defensive team as well. You got 3 straight stops at one point, including a Sanaya Rivers block that was unbelievable. Describe what that effort, that connection was like on the defensive end.
You know, it's all dedicated to Coach Moore. He said play 40 minutes, so that's what we did. We played 40 minutes on both halves.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
NC State earning that right. Eventually, Angel, to move on and play tomorrow, take on the winner of our next game. As I said, they might be working on some free throws between now and then. Wolfpack will keep on dancing here in Greensboro. 54-51, our final score. For Debbie Antonelli and Angel Gray, we're going to say a quick goodbye. We'll be back. More basketball still to come with Syracuse and Florida State. But for now, let's get you over to our Nothing But Net crew with Kelsey and the rest of the gang.
So much. You see NC State celebrating as they hang on, they survive and advance. We hear that a lot in March, but you really saw it in that one today alongside the Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, Kelly Grimlich, Ivory Latta, Kelsey Riggs with you for the next half hour as we count you down to the final game of the day between Syracuse and Florida State. But let's start with what we just saw. And as a coach watching that game, and the free throw line, some of the mistakes, I'm just going to wind you up and the floor is yours, Coach.
I mean, they're free. Come on. But honestly, it gets contagious at the end of the game like that. And I would actually have in my huddle said, who wants the ball? Yes. Who wants to get to the free throw line? I might have put my freshman Zoe Brooks. She made the go-ahead basket. She's the only one who didn't get to the free throw line. But everybody else, you think, oh, let's get her. Let's get her. Nobody could make a free throw. And then you got to X on the free throw because you know the rebound's coming off.
Hey, Coach is not happy. And look, I understand. They are free. I get that, Coach.
They were not free tonight.
They were not free tonight. They were costing money. But
it's like premium gas
State,
over there.
7 of 20 from the free throw line. Their worst free throw shooting performance of the season. But here's the good news. It may be an ugly baby, but it's Wes Moore's baby, and they still found a way to win.
Listen, me and you were sitting here talking. You get, I think, 10 seconds at the free throw line. Please use up 9 and shoot on the 10th one.
And
take your time, breathe, just focus.
Say a prayer.
But at least Isaiah James knew. That was the first thing she said to Angels. Like,
yes,
we're going to be practicing a lot of free throws because that did not go well. You mentioned it was their worst shooting performance from the free throw line. It's also the fewest points that they've scored in a win this season. The previous was 59, only scored 54. Offensively, any concerns about what we saw, or this is just an off game and a tough Duke defense and a poor finish?
Well, you talk about contagion. Okay, the three-point shooting in this ACC tournament has not been very good. And, of course, as someone who lost the three-point shootout yesterday, I can't exactly speak on it, but that's been a problem. And I thought NC State, if they had made 1 or 2 more of those threes, it would have blown this game open a little bit. Now, Duke, on the other hand, was 1 of 13 from 3, but NC State is a better three-point shooting team overall. It was harder because driving lanes weren't really there because you're not making any threes. It was just a compact kind of rock fight in the paint because no one was knocking down shots.
Second chance points for Duke is where they really kept themselves in it, but it was not enough. They had 14 second chance points. It is NC State that survives and advances here in Greensboro. Duke's season is not over. They're the 6th seed entering today as you take a look at the bracket, and the Wolfpack advancing to the semifinals. They've made it 6 out of the last 7 years. We'll see if they play Syracuse or if they play Florida State. Goes down to Notre Dame 77-68, the final. How about the game that just wrapped up here? Third game of the day, NC State and Duke trip to the semifinals. On the line, NC State trailing by 4. Ivory, it's Isaiah James.
Isaiah James with a step back. She like James Harden right there, baby.
Duke trails by 3. Alucia Kanawa collects the offensive rebound, puts it back up, and ties the game at 47. But then it's the freshman Kelly, Zoe Brooks.
The freshmen were great in this game, and Zoe Brooks made some massive massive plays for NC State.
54-51, the final, and the freshman Zoe Brooks getting ready to join us here on set. Excited to hear from her as NC State makes their 6th semifinal tournament appearance in the last 7 years. But this is Zoe's first year, and she's going to get to play here in the ACC tournament semifinals as we say hello to her. And what a game you had. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and as these two pointed out, 0 turnovers. They were very excited about that as well. What was the experience like for you in your first time here in Greensboro and really having to grind it out down the stretch?
It was a great crowd. I didn't expect to play in front of these many people. I thought the energy was great, and I had a lot of fun.
It's just like a home game. So at the end of the game, were you thinking, put me on the free throw line? I know I can make free throws.
Yeah, but we all can knock down free throws. We practiced them a lot, so whoever was best free throw shooter in the moment, that's what I wanted to shoot.
Who was it at the moment? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah. Zoe, I feel like you are just so poised. You don't let other players speed you up. Ivory and I could knock it over. 5 assists, 0 turnovers against Duke, who's a great defensive team. Where do you think your poise comes from?
Just my experience of playing my whole life. I started dribbling before I learned how to shoot, so I think that helps my confidence a lot and helps me not let anybody slow me down.
What age did you first start dribbling?
5 years old.
Okay,
I was
my
dribbling the
son's
ball between
almost
my
1,
legs.
so I need to know. I'll work on that.
Give him 2 years.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, Coach really put the ball in your hand middle of the third quarter and all of the fourth. How does that feel when you know your coach has that much trust in you and believe that you can go out there and get it done as a freshman?
It helps a lot. I was struggling in the first quarter making shots, but he told me to stay confident, keep shooting, and I felt a lot more relaxed in the third quarter, and it helped me bring my team back.
What did Coach say after the game? Did you get to go in the locker room yet?
Yeah, he did his little celebration dance, his little boom.
I hope somebody got video of that because we need to see
Yeah,
it.
they got a video.
He's got so many great sayings. Is there one that's like a favorite for you?
Oh, baby.
He's a character. I can tell you like playing part. You mentioned Isaiah James. She has stepped up so much for this team. Her improvement from last year to this year. What kind of leader is she for you guys?
She's very encouraging. Whenever we're having off shooting days, she always says keep our head up, and we do the same for her. She definitely always has our back.
Knowing that you're coming off the bench and you're playing, what is your mindset as soon as you check in? Like, what are you thinking of as soon as you get in to help the team?
To bring the energy, do what I have to do to help us win, and just make sure that we win the game.
So you did all of those things tonight. You guys come out with the 54-51 win in your first performance here in the ACC tournament. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
After we find out who the winner of this game is.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right,
I gotta go.
Yes.
She said, job not finished.
Let's get back to that trivia question that we showed you earlier, as I love seeing Zoe go over there and shake some fans' hands. They're already excited about her. You had your coach, what was your guess?
B, Kayla McBride and Alyssa Thomas.
I'm going with B as well.
I'm going with E because it never fails me.
Have you won any?
Man, God, you know
yes.
Sounds like the consensus was B, and
Shout
that
out,
was
Coach.
also the correct answer. Alyssa Thomas, Kayla McBride, Coach, way to lead them in the right direction.
I know my girls.
Welcome back into Nothing But Net. Let's take you through our final game of the night. Number 3, Syracuse and Deasia Fair facing number 6, Florida State and Tanaya Latson. Second quarter, OMG, we saw a ton of good stuff, Ivory, from Amaria Gordon.
OMG was out there balling tonight. She set the tone definitely for Florida State.
She finished with 24 points. It was a 10-point lead. Then KK Timpson Kelly going to give them a little bit more inside.
21 offensive rebounds for Florida State. You're going to win the game when you grab 21 O-boards.
She had 18 rebounds herself. Then Pagetti knocks down the 3. Coach, how about some more from Tanaya Latson here?
Just love the defense, taking it all the way for an easy one.
Had a game high 25 points. Florida State wins it 78-65, the final, as they advance to the semifinals for the first time since 2020. Made it all the way to the finals that season. Well, there's a chance they could still be seeing red after what we saw from NC State today in their game against Duke. Trip to the semifinals on the line. Isaiah James drills the 3. NC State trails by 1, but Duke right in the mix as well. Lucia Kanawa, Kelly.
I love what Alucia Kanawa brings to the floor, always playing so hard, and was big for Duke today.
Coach, how about the freshman Zoe Brooks?
Another Sixth Player of the Year candidate. She really had a great game. No turnovers.
NC State wins it 54-51, the final here. And we mentioned Zoe Brooks and what she was able to do. Really came up big in this game for NC State. Angel Gray caught up with her teammate Isaiah James post-game and asked about Zoe's performance.
In the first half, she was down at halftime and stuff, but we all came together and tapped her shoulder and was like, look, pick your head up. You're not a freshman no more. It's time to put your big girl drawers on and let's go. Let's go. It's time to go. And look what she did. She came out, put some big shots up, and got us the win.
I thought she was going to say she came out and put her big drawers on, just like she had started. We told her she had to do it. She did it. She comes out, has 12 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. And Ivory, as you pointed out, no turnovers. The poise from this freshman in this game. How impressive was it?
That was very impressive. A freshman to come in, your ACC tournament, they had a great crowd to come and support, but also to have a coach that believes in you, to give you the ball in the third and that you have the ball in the fourth. It's awesome. She took care of the ball. She was able to see her drives, get her teammates involved, and like you say, she was really poised. She made the right decisions.
Honestly, Kel, she's shown great poise all season long. Zoe Brooks has been ready to go since she got on campus, played great in that UConn game for NC State, and has really just played well since she joined the squad. And I thought she even told us that her confidence faltered a little bit in that first half. Isaiah James says, we're going to need you. We need you to keep your head up, and she delivers.
I loved how she challenged her. You know, instead of saying, hey, it's okay, you know. No, she was like, no, put your big girl pants on and let's go. You know, and we've seen that throughout the whole tournament. Players make a turnover. They do just something dumb at the end of the game. And the other players are the first ones to go over and say, no, pick yourself up. We got you.
We've seen the camaraderie on display in a big way for a lot of these teams in some of those tough moments. And a lot of those teams are the ones that have been able to survive and advance to the next round. So NC State will face Florida State tomorrow when they met in the regular season. It was an overtime game, you guys, 88-80 as NC State takes care of business against Florida State. But the other game that we have coming your way is going to be between NC State and FSU. That will be the 2:30 game right here on ACC Network. We just mentioned, Coach, to Nia Latson about that quick turnaround. Does that factor into what we could see from NC State?
It definitely does. NC State, though, they just got a little more rest. You know, a couple of hours more rest. They're still all keyed up, but you're getting back to the hotel. It's late. You got to eat. You're having trouble falling asleep, and then you got to get up and do your walkthroughs and stuff. So I think that makes a big difference to a team when they're tired.
It does, even though Florida State today, they had much less rest than Syracuse, and they just looked so locked in. I really can't get over how confident Florida State looks. They had a bit of an up and down year, still a very good year in the league and have some really good wins, but it seems like they have flipped a switch here in March, and Florida State almost looks like the most confident team here left in the tournament.
The other thing, Ivory, though, is they are the only team that has now played 2 games that's left still playing, and they've got a quicker turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely. As a player, like she said, they got to get ready, focus. I hope they're not watching no film. Get back, kick your feet up, get in a normal tech.
Put the boombox on.
Put the boombox on, ice, whatever it is. It's all about, it's a mental thing right now. You know, you have to be mentally prepared to go out there and just play hard.
You know, it's just not, I'm not tired. You just got to tell yourself that.
Well, you mentioned the mental game, and we heard from Tania Latson, Kelly, and where her mental is compared to last year. On the other side of things, this NC State team last season struggled a lot. Where do you think their mindset is as they get ready as the 2 seed?
I think Westmore still has them very much locked in. It's not just, you know, we're excited to be here. We're in the semifinals. No one thought we would be. I don't think that's the case for NC State, not with Westmore leading this group. And you saw how locked in Zoe Brooks was. Isaiah James was great. You've got to have some other players play a bit better. I thought Madison Hayes hit some big shots, but maybe not as many shots as you needed. River Baldwin will be big in this game against Michaela Timpson. When these two played in the regular season, it was an overtime game. That was the game that Baldwin got hurt in the second half, but in the first half, she took 5 charges. So keep an eye on that. Baldwin getting in position on these drivers from Florida State.
They were able to win that game on the road, but it's going to be another road game for them with the crowd that NC State's bringing today.
And like you said, when Zoe Brooks came up here and did the interview, she was answering the questions, but you could see she was still like in game mode. And I said, job not finished. And she looked at me, she was like, you're right, job's not finished. I'm like, oh, okay, girl, do your thing.
She's like, gotta go by. We are not done, and I need to get back to the action. Meanwhile, before we let you go and get to tomorrow, Kelly, did you catch that? Ooh.
Okay, normally, did you catch that? I did catch it, but this play was so ridiculous, I don't think any of us caught it. How on earth did that go in? And honestly, who gets the points? Because that was not a Duke player. Maybe Kennedy Brown.
Did she tip
She was
it?
the last Duke player to touch it, but it ended up being tapped in by NC State, I think by Madison Hayes, but did you catch that? No, I really didn't.
No, as we come on camera, as we're all still trying to catch it because you can't tell
But hey,
exactly
if I'm Kennedy
what
Brown,
happened.
I'm like, give me those points. Yeah, I was right there.
Might as well. We are so excited about semifinals Saturday. Of course, it'll start right here on ACC Network. Pre-game, post-game, halftimes. We'll have you covered throughout the day. Justin Walters will be with us as well. Looking forward to that. It has been a great 3 days so far in Greensboro, and we are not done yet. The fans really showed up and showed out tonight. I know it's going to be a packed house again tomorrow for NC State and Florida State in the afternoon. Notre Dame and Virginia Tech in the morning. Coach is also ready to go get her rest. She'll be ready for the pregame show tomorrow for all of our crew here. Everybody back in Bristol, appreciate all the hard work, and we will see you for semifinal Saturday.